You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Y&R fans. It is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I have got your weekly prediction edition for Young and the Restless. I have got 3 sizzling hot spoilers I'm super excited to bring to you. One's about Victor, Victoria, and Nate. One is about Phyllis, Christine, and Danny, and the other is about Jack facing enemies on 2 fronts. All of our predictions, as always, are firmly rooted in confirmed spoilers. This is our conversation with you about what we think is going to happen. And I love your comments. I look forward to your comments. Definitely subscribe to the channel, and then be sure to comment on what you think about these predictions. If you disagree, that's fine. Tell me where you think it's going instead. I love reading all your comments. I appreciate you guys tuning in and interacting with us. Let's dig in right now. Our first prediction is, did Victor Newman demote Victoria to trick Nate into showing his true colors? So this is my prediction just because of some things I've seen, and because Victor is always playing chess, even if there's not a board in front of him. This prediction is based on a Monday, September 18th spoiler. Yeah, Monday the 18th. And so I guess I'm just trying to think how to word this. So Victoria sits down with Nate. She is very upset about the demotion. She's ranting and raving. And she says that she thinks her dad is being erratic. And what's interesting is Nate disagrees, and that's almost like a bucket of cold water on Victoria, because she's used to him being her yes man, her co-conspirator, her co-schemer. Also on Monday, she ends that conversation with Nate because her mom shows up and they need to talk. Nate leaves. Where does he go? He runs right over to Newman Enterprises to suck up to the new CEO. And this tells you what a lot of people have been trying to tell Victoria, that Nate is all about Nate. And he wants to make sure that he lets Victor know that he knows where his bread is buttered, and that he is loyal to the Newman Enterprises CEO, no matter who is sitting in that chair. But what I wonder, and what this prediction really is about, is this exactly what Victor was hoping for? You know, over the many decades, anytime Victor tried to talk sense to Victoria about whatever bum that she was dating that he knew was going to hurt her, she wouldn't listen. And you remember, he had her arrested at one wedding, and didn't he have a groom arrested at another wedding? I know he definitely had her arrested at a wedding. I think it was to Billy Abbott way back in the day. By the way, you guys, I just want to mention this. I'm going to mention it very briefly because I do not want to start crying. You guys have probably heard that Billy Miller passed away a couple of days before his 44th birthday. We did a tribute video to him, and you can see it in the recent videos. You can see it in our Y&R playlist. I'm so damn sad. I was literally crying while I was making this video, and I don't want to start crying now. So I'm not going to talk a lot about it, only to say that for a lot of people, Billy Miller is always their Billy Abbott. And one of the pictures that we threw into the video was his wedding way back in the day to Victoria. And it's just awful. And yeah, so, all right. I just wanted to say that and to acknowledge that he's missed and beloved. And it's heartbreaking. All right. So anytime Victor tried to get Victoria to see reason about the sketchy side of someone she was dating, she would never listen. It happened with Billy, and he did her dirty, and with both Billy Miller in the role and with Jason Thompson in the role. So he's at least consistent. And with Ashlyn Locke, you know, and now Nate is just a piece of crap, and he's using her to get ahead. Victor knows it. Everybody knows it but Victoria. Nikki knows it. Nick knows it. Adam even knows it. Elena knows it and tried to warn her, and Victoria just thinks that she knows better. Remember that Victor told Victoria when he made the change and took over the CEO seat that it's not personal, it's business. Well, maybe, but maybe not. So could Victor be setting this up to expose Nate's horrible, greedy, power-seeking dark side, to put it on just a clear display so that Victoria can see it for herself, because that's the only way she's going to believe it. And maybe Victor has plans to hand her back the CEO seat once she cuts Nate out of her life. Because honestly, I don't think he had a problem with her being cutthroat with Newman Media, with Adam, with Nick. It was just the fact that she kept pushing Nate into the seat of power. She even wanted to make him co-CEO. And I think theoretically, my opinion is that that was the breaking point for Victor. So on Friday the 22nd, Victoria and Victor are in this huge argument, and she is slinging accusations at him. She is going to tell him that he's the one who drove Nick away from the company and did Adam dirty, did Sally dirty. She's going to dredge up all the same kind of things that she said to Nikki, I believe. Victor's going to explode, and he's going to tell her, if you don't like it, walk out the door. Don't let it hit you in the butt on the way out. So I do wonder ultimately if Victor has got her best interest at heart. He loves her, and he even told Nate that Victoria's done a great job. So it's like, why is he doing this? And I think it's why. I think it's to expose Nate. Just my prediction. Let me know what you guys think. All right. The second thing is that Phyllis and Cricket, I think, are going to be in a rivalry all over again with Danny Romalotti. Back in the day, if you don't remember, Phyllis and Christine had a very nasty rivalry over rock star Danny Romalotti. He fell for Cricket back in, I think it was 1990, and really loved her. But then he cheated on her with Phyllis. He thought he did. And Phyllis turned up pregnant, except they never had sex. If you recall, or if you don't, here's a reminder. Phyllis drugged him, climbed into bed with him, lied to him, said they did the deed, and then said she was pregnant with him, but somebody else had gotten her pregnant. But Danny has raised Daniel Romalotti as if he's his son. They are father and son, even though they don't share DNA. Danny and Phyllis weren't together too long initially, just because of things coming out. Then Christine met Paul, but she cheated with Danny, but then she ultimately chose Paul. And let's not forget how Danny met Phyllis. She was stalking him. She was obsessed. He married her briefly. Then he dumped her when he figured out what a piece of work she was. Then they remarried during this medical crisis when Daniel was little. And that's when he found out all the ways she had been lying to him. He took her to court. He won custody, and all of her cheating and drugging and stalking and all that came out in court. Danny kept Phyllis away from Daniel most of his life. I think he came back when he was like 16. Anyway, Daniel is now grown, and aside from her fake death scheme, he's getting along okay with his mother. But Danny Romalotti is coming back, and season 51 spoilers say he's going to have a lengthy stay, and he's going to find himself stuck between his ex-wives. Christine is single right now. She mentioned it the other day. She and Paul have split because Doug Davison's gone for good. And Danny, at one point back in the day, did want to get back with her, but she had chosen Paul. And of course, Phyllis is going to be glad to see him, glad to see a friendly face. But I feel like if Cricket senses any spark between Phyllis and Danny, I think she's going to remind him, she hasn't changed, and this fake death scheme proves it. So I wonder if one of them is going to win him, or if he might end up betting them both while he's in Genoa City for a while, or will he choose just one? So I'm very interested to see this. And if he does choose Christine, maybe she leaves together with him for a while, because generally she's not on that much. I know she's on contract. I mean, she is the, founder of the soap's daughter. So I'm sure she can be on as much as she wants, but generally she's not on that much. So we'll just wait and see. All right. Our third prediction real quick. I believe that Jack Abbott is going to face enemies on two fronts. And I wonder if he's going to be too divided to defeat them both. And is there a chance his enemies might work together? So official, already known, Tucker is plotting against Jabot. He is really butthurt that Ashley wouldn't walk away from her family, wouldn't choose him over Jabot. He wanted her to choose him over everyone and everything else, and she wouldn't. She tried to talk reasonably to him, but the old Tucker crawled out of that smiling face, and he acted just like he did way back before. Right now, he's lashing out. He wants to destroy the company that she loves and that he thinks she chose over him. Tucker's definitely showing his true colors. He ran back to town, jumped back on naked Audra, and enlisted her in the Jabot takedown scheme. We all know that, right? But here's the spoilers. The problem is also that Billy Abbott goes rogue. That's according to Wednesday, September 20th spoilers. But the question is, against whom? Is it against Jack? I mean, by the wording that they used, I assume he's doing it something at Jabot behind Jack's back, also because of other spoilers. Billy has this paranoia about Diane. He has this insane idea that she's bad for Jabot and is playing some long con, kind of an echo of the sort of stuff that Ashley was saying, but now Ashley seems not to believe it after Diane saved her life. So Diane doesn't really seem to be up to anything. If she is, it's a long, slow-burning con. I just don't think so. I think she just really wanted Jack and Kyle back. I know some fans still think she is, but I just don't. So then the week of the 25th through the 29th of September, there are more spoilers on this storyline. Billy threatens Tucker. Maybe he has sniffed out that Tucker is plotting against Jabot, but then again, Billy, I think, is plotting against Jack at Jabot to some extent. And maybe with Tucker and Diane both as perceived threats, Billy thinks he needs to grab the reins since Jack is blinded by Diane, at least the way that Billy sees it. So another spoiler for next week says that Jack finds out he is being deceived at work at Jabot, and I wonder if that is about Billy Abbott. Hey, thank you so much for listening. Please drop your comments below. Click a like if you enjoyed this. Click subscribe if you haven't already. It helps the channel, and we appreciate it so much. I'm really excited to hear what you guys think about our predictions and the spoilers ahead. And please come back soon for more on Young and the Restless. And just a real quick note, that Billy Miller in memoriam video we did, at the very end of it, I added in these video clips. They're a decade old. They're from 2013. They're back when Billy left Young and the Restless, and you might remember he wound up over at General Hospital for a while, but it's the cast and some of the crew members who just adored Billy Miller because he was such a sweet soul, and they were saying goodbye to him. They were saying goodbye to him because he was leaving Y&R, but I attached it into the video about him passing because it felt very timely, because a lot of the things they said about him and how much they would miss him and everything. So check that out if you haven't already. Thank you so much for listening. This has been Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.